Hi, welcome to the Magic of Mathematics with Mrs. Arnold Harsley. Today we'll look at Basic Algebra Part 4, dividing algebraic terms to show them in their simplest form. We'll first of all need to look at what is a factor, and then how you find the highest common factor, how you simplify fractions using the highest common factor, and then using all of that knowledge to be able to divide algebraic terms more effectively. So first of all, what is a factor? A factor is any number that divides or fits evenly into another number. An example of this is 6. 6 is a factor of 12 because it fits into 12 two times exactly. So let's look at what are all the factors of 12. So you've got the numbers 1 through to 12 there. I'm going to go through them one at a time. Need to grab a pen. Is 1 a factor of 12? Yes, it is, because it divides into 12 times. Is 2 a factor of 12? Yes, because it divides into 12 exactly 6 times. Is 3 a factor? It is, because it divides into 12 4 times. Is 4 a factor? Yes, because it divides into 12 3 times. Is 5 a factor? No, because it doesn't fit evenly into 12 without any remainders. 6 is a factor of 12 because we already established that here. 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11 are not factors of 12. They do not fit evenly into 12. But 12 is a factor of 12 because it fits into itself one time. So let's just write that out. So the factors of 12 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 12. Now just a couple of additional pieces of information regarding factors. When you're looking at all the factors of a given number, 1 and that given number, in this case 12, will always be factors. And that's really what a prime number is. So if you looked at the factors of 13, for example, 13 is a prime number, it's just 1 and 13. So when a number only has factors of 1 and itself, that's what makes it a prime number. The other thing I want to point out is once you've listed them in order, they are in pairs. So 1 and 12 are a pair because 1 multiplied by 12 is 12. 2 and 6 are a pair because 2 multiplied by 6 is 12. And 3 and 4 are a pair because 3 multiplied by 4 is 12. So the highest common factor of 2 or more numbers can be found by listing all the factors of each number. The number that occurs in both or all of the factor lists and is the highest number in each list is the highest common factor. So we're going to look at an example now and find the highest common factor of 24 and 32. The first thing we need to do is to list all of the factors of 24. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12 and 24. It's quite a few. Factors of 32, we've got 1, 2, 4, 8, 16 and 32. So now we'll look at which numbers are in both lists. So we can see 1 is in both lists, 2 is in both lists, 4 is in both lists, and 8 is in both lists. But it says the highest common factor is the highest number that occurs in both lists. So that would be 8. So the highest common factor of 24 and 32 is 8. So we can simplify fractions by determining the highest common factor of the numerator, which is the number at the top of the fraction, and the denominator, which is the number at the bottom of the fraction. Understanding this first will enable you to divide algebraic terms more easily. I'll just grab a pen. So if we look at factors of 4, first of all, for this first fraction, factors of 4 are 1, 2 and 4. And the factors of 12 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 12. We've done that a few times. Okay, so the highest number that appears in both lists you can see is 4. So we simplify the fraction using the highest common factor of 4. So we would say 4 fits into 4 once and 4 fits into 12 exactly 3 times. So 4/12 simplified is 1/3. Now if we look at 21 over 35, factors of 21 are 1, 3, 7 and 21. Factors of 35 are 1, 5, 7 and 35. So you can see the highest common factor is 7, and we use that to simplify the fraction. So 7 divides into 21 exactly 3 times, and 7 divides into 35 exactly 5 times. So now we're going to put all of that knowledge into action in order to divide these algebraic terms and show them in their simplest form. Just a couple of things to help you do that. Here I've written expand. Sometimes it helps students to expand the numerator and the denominator before dividing and simplifying, and sometimes students don't need that, but I'm going to show you how. So I'm going to look at this fraction here, and you can see it's a little bit different because at the top it says 8a squared bc divided by 12ab. Now if you've watched my YouTube clip Algebra Part 3, I go through expanding terms there if you want to know how to do that in more detail. But to expand this one, there are invisible multiplication signs in between everything. We've got 8 multiplied by. Now here's the thing, a squared is a multiplied by a. And then we multiply by b and multiply by c. We're going to be expanding for that particular fraction. So I'm just going to erase that. And I'll show you how to do that when we get to that example. And the other thing I want to point out is you can see here we're dividing two negatives. So just a quick recap of the rules. If you're dividing two positives or two negatives, the answer will be positive. If you're dividing a positive and a negative, or a negative and a positive, the answer will be negative. If you see the negative sign applied to the fraction like that, then the answer will be negative. All right, so the first example is 15ab divided by 25bc. The first thing we need to do is find the highest common factor of 15 and 25. So the factors of 15 are 1, 3, 5 and 15, and factors of 25 are 1, 5 and 25. So you can see the highest common factor is 5. Now you can look at 15 and 25 and say, well, you know, I can already see that 5 divides into it, and it just so happens that 5 is the highest common factor. But you may come across a time where you can see that a number divides evenly into two numbers, like 8 and 12 here. You might be able to see straight away that 2 divides into 8 and 12, but 2 is not the highest common factor. So even though you would simplify that fraction, it will not be in its simplest form. You need the highest common factor for that. So let's use 5. 5 divides into 15 3 times, and into 25 5 times. Now we've got some pronumerals or variables. So we've got AB at the top, which is A multiplied by B, and we've got BC at the bottom, which is B multiplied by C. So to divide pronumerals or variables, you have to have one at the top on the numerator that is the same as one at the bottom for the denominator. So you can see you've got A in the numerator position, there's no A in the denominator position, so that needs to stay. You've got a B at the top and a B at the bottom, so they cancel out. And then you've got a C at the bottom. So 15AB divided by 25BC simplifies to 3A divided by 5C. So if we look at this example now, factors of 2 are 1 and 2. Factors of 4 are 1, 2 and 4. So the highest common factor is 2. 2 divides into 2 once and into 4 2 times. And then the x at the top cancels out with the x at the bottom, and the y at the top cancels out with the y at the bottom. So the answer to that one is a half. Moving on to this example again here, I did mention expanding it out so that you can see how you can cancel what happens when you have a squared and when you have a. So expanding it first, we've got 8 multiplied by a, which is the a squared, multiplied by b, multiplied by c, divided by 12 multiplied by a, multiplied by b. So the first thing I'm going to do is list the factors of 8, which is 1, 2, 4, and 8. Factors of 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. And the highest common factor there is 4. So the first thing we'll do is divide 4 into 8. It goes 2 times. Divide 4 into 12. It goes 3 times. Now we'll look at matching pronumerals or variables from the numerator position and the denominator position. We can see we've got 1a at the bottom and 2 a's at the top. Well, you can only cancel 1a with 1a. So one of these a's from that a squared is cancelled and the other one has to stay. We cancel the b at the top with the b at the bottom, and then we keep the c at the top because there is no c at the bottom to cancel it out with. And then I'm just going to circle what we have left. We transfer that to the answer. You can remove the multiplication sign. So that becomes 2ac divided by 3. And then in the final example, you can see we've got 2 negative numbers there. So we won't worry about that for now. We'll just look at factors of 30. So factors of 30, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 10, 15, and 30. Factors of 40, 1, 2, 4, 10, 20, 40. So the highest common factor there is 10. 10 divides into 30 3 times and into 40 4 times. Now these 2 negatives here, you can see up here that if you have 2 negatives, the answer is a positive. So we don't need to put any signs in there. We don't need to put the positive signs in because 3 over 4 as it is tells us it's positive. Now we've got an xy at the top and an x squared at the bottom. So for some of you, you may need to expand that. So that will be x multiplied by y and x multiplied by x. I'll just grab a different colour pen. You can see that one of the x's at the bottom can cancel with the x at the top, and that will leave you with 3y divided by 4x. So today we looked at factors and what factors are. Then we used our knowledge of factors to find the highest common factor of 2 numbers. Then we used the highest common factor knowledge in order to simplify fractions. And then we used all of that knowledge to divide algebraic terms to show them in their simplest form. Thank you for watching The Magic of Mathematics with Mrs. Arnold Harsley. Until next time, see ya.